What's up, pilots? I'm Dartigan, and welcome to the INFODROP. On today's INFODROP, Vince Zampella hints once again that Titanfall 2 may make its way to PlayStation 4. We look into the music of Titanfall and how they incorporate that into the multiplayer experience. Finally, we take a closer look at the Titan statue that'll be coming with the Collector's Edition, and a few concept images from the art book. A few days ago on the Verge podcast, Polygon's Chris Grant stated that Microsoft had in fact bought the entire Titanfall franchise, not just the rights to the first game.
In order to hammer that, Titanfall 1 was always going to be an Xbox PC exclusive. In order to really hammer that in, they bought the rights to the whole series. Like,
oh, okay.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Oh, so it's not just the first one that's
Titanfall
exclusive.
2 will never. Yeah, they bought Titanfall.
Yeah. Now, pilots, I'm not a professional journalist by any stretch of the imagination. But before I make any statement, I do at least like to fact check it to make sure it is in fact true. And if not, I at least make sure you know it's speculation on my part and should not be regarded as fact. Chris Grant didn't do that. He was speaking out of his ass because this is blatantly untrue. So because Chris, a professional journalist mind you, said something incredibly inaccurate, Vince Zampella, the lead director of Titanfall, had to spend a good part of his day on Twitter denying the allegation. His Twitter was flooded by people asking whether this was true or not. You'd think they would have read through his previous tweets and seen that he'd already answered this question multiple times, but I suppose everyone wants their own personalized response. On top of that, one of EA's executives released an official response detailing why Titanfall is exclusive to Microsoft. Now, I don't want to go into too much detail into this press release because it's full of vague corporate newspeak that doesn't really give you too many facts. And the reason they don't really go into detail is because basically money changed hands, a significant amount of money, and they worry that might make them or their partners look bad in the eyes of the media and gamers. I personally don't hold them against them. They are a business after all. That's their goal, to make money, but some people will hate them for that. With that being said, I wasn't exactly thrilled when I learned that the PlayStation 4 would not be seeing Titanfall until Titanfall 2. The reason? I think it would be better for it to be multi-platform from the very beginning. It's just a matter of numbers. The more people who can actually play your game, the more people who are going to buy it, and therefore the more popular it becomes. Let's look at Halo. Halo, of course, is a huge franchise, massive sales numbers every single time one is released. But compare Halo to Call of Duty. Call of Duty sales numbers dwarf Halo's by quite a bit. And I think the reason for that is because you can play Call of Duty on just about everything. Halo you can only play on Xbox. You can't even play it on PC anymore, which is a shame. Of course, Halo is a first-party game. I don't begrudge Microsoft for keeping it exclusive to their machine. But Titanfall is a third-party game. It's made by Respawn and published by EA. The only reason it's exclusive is because of money. And when that's the reason, it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Microsoft obviously wants the advantage that it thinks Titanfall will give it, but I prefer to think of the long-term success of the franchise rather than the box it runs on. That's why I'm starting to believe that Titanfall could be held back for a little while because of its Xbox One exclusivity. After all, there's only going to be so many Xbox Ones out in the wild. Finally, PlayStation 4 guys, look forward to Titanfall 2 in a few years. Let me know what you think in the comments. In a first of 3 news posts on Titanfall.com, Titanfall composer Stephen Barton gave some details on the music of Titanfall while recording at Abbey Road Studios. One comment in particular stood out, since it clarified one of the concerns I've had about how you can make cinematic music work in a multiplayer game without it becoming a distraction. Quote, "In terms of the way the music is integrated into the game, those elements are still coming together. We are definitely looking at intensity levels, but also thinking about great context. For example, if you're in the middle of an intense firefight, you don't want intense music because you're ending up with noise and the music is trying to compete with explosions going off everywhere. So one of the things we have to do is think about music as commentary, as an element that counterpoints what's going on. For example, when you're running around as a pilot, the music might be faster, generally speaking, as it is a faster pace. But it might be less intense at spots and more intense at other spots, just depending on the intensity of the firefight and sort of finding holes for where music can go and not trying to compete with explosions. That is the overall approach." So what exactly does that mean, music as commentary? To get a bit of perspective on this, let's look at the E3 trailer and see how they use music during that.
As you can hear, Respawn has thoughtfully selected the music for each moment to convey just the right amount of emotion.
Okay, let's be serious. I think this moment from the E3 trailer pretty clearly gets across just what Stephen Barton means when he says use music as commentary. Up until this point, the music has kept a slow yet steady drum beat, just kind of urging you forward without overwhelming you. But as soon as you drop your Titan, the music dies completely. You can even hear the Titan growl, it sounds like. But then, as soon as the cockpit closes around you, boom, action music. No, not that. Once you get into the cockpit, the music finally picks up. It's as if the soundtrack is telling you, you're in a war machine now. Get to work. The other moment I want to mention comes from the second video, right at the very end, right after the player's team loses. The player, having lost, now has to run for his life, and the music takes on a much more suspenseful tone to reflect that. Now bear in mind, these two videos were heavily scripted for the audience. The music may very well have been added in post. We just don't know. Though it does seem to illustrate what Steven meant by music is commentary. And I really hope this is what they're trying to achieve. I just think music like this in a multiplayer experience would just add so much to the overall effect. What do you guys think music as commentary actually means? Do you think they should even bother trying to put music into the experience? Let me know in the comments. And we end today's info dump with a look at the Atlas Titan statue that comes with the collector's edition. The statue originally started out 18 inches tall, but crept up to 20 inches once they added the pilot on the back. The pilot was added in order to give you a better sense of scale between the pilots and the Titans. One interesting detail is you can switch the LED lights from blue to red. A nice little touch. It takes 3 AAA batteries, and that's about all there is on it. It's a very expensive looking statue. That's it for today's info dump. If you found this video helpful, please consider liking and subscribing. I'll be covering all the latest Titanfall news and updates from now until launch. See you next time, pilots.